Wow. I don't even know what to say. Let me give you a proposition based on what I'm seeing. Either the 49ers just got a massive gift from the NFL, which I'm going to tell you about in a second, or the 49ers just set themselves back several years, and are in full rebuild. Let me know in the comments which one of those you think is most likely. Pick a side between the two there. Massive moves happening all around the NFL in the last 48 hours. Did they help or did they hurt the 49ers? I look forward to seeing what you have to say. Hit subscribe if you're looking for daily 49ers content, but let's start with the moves earliest in the day and work through what in the world just happened as free agency is official in just a couple of days, and all of the legal tampering, as they say, is happening now, all that stuff. So let's start with the fact that the Chiefs signed offensive tackle Jalen Moore to a 2-year, $30 million deal per Albert Breer. The question, of course, is this a situation for the 49ers that is a gift, or is this a situation that is setting us back? Okay, so I want to keep that same frame all the way through. Is this a help or is this a hurt? Now, I say a massive gift from the NFL on this one, and by that what I mean is that you have a team who's paying this guy $30 million to go play for their team, and that's money the 49ers should not have paid out. In other words, if the 49ers had given Jalen Moore, left tackle, $30 million when with $15 million AAV, when they already have a starting left tackle who's coming back next season, that would have been a mistake. So I'm going to say on this one, helps, not hurts. Okay? Let me know what you think in the comments, of course. But 2-year, $30 million for an unproven left tackle. I liked Jalen Moore this season. Don't get me wrong, but he did pretty well. Okay, mid-season, basically helping himself to $15 million AAV just for covering for Trent. But the 49ers are the better side of his situation for sure. You get another comp pick. The 49ers have comp picks coming out of their ears. They've already maxed out comp picks for 2026, which is also incredible just to think about. The next great player could be in the draft. We'll just keep that in mind with the comp picks, but I won't go any deeper than that on the comp picks. The bottom line for me is he's unproven, and I would have liked him at the right price for sure. But I wouldn't have put $15 million into him. That's like, 4% of the salary cap or something like that? That's top 15 left tackle money for a guy that hasn't had to do it season in and season out yet. He's only $5 million behind their right tackle, Taylor, I think it is. So there's your blind side, Patrick Mahomes. Jalen Moore. Okay. Colton McKivitz, by the way, who played pretty well in 2024. I know not everyone's favorite player. Played pretty well in 2024. Only $5 million average annual, which is crazy. So to guarantee over $20 million for a guy who isn't your starting left tackle is a bit crazy. Also to the Chiefs would have been Elijah Moore. Went to the Chiefs today. That was an interesting one. When healthy, Elijah Moore was great. Or Mitchell. Did I say Moore? Elijah Mitchell was great, but when healthy, right? But the guy wasn't healthy. That's the big problem. I thought this was great from Kyle Posey here. Mitchell gets hurt in the first quarter of week 1 and misses the next 2 months in 2022. In 2023, a knee injury keeps Mitchell sidelined for multiple games. 2024, Mitchell gets hurt early in training camp, misses the entire season. 2025, Mitchell stays healthy for the first time of his career, rushes for 1,200 yards. That would be the 49ers' luck, of course. It goes to Kansas City, and that's what happens. But a $3.5 million deal, that's pretty good money for the young man. And, if he stays healthy, it'll work out well for him. But unfortunately, the 49ers have not seen Elijah Mitchell stay healthy in quite some time. I think this is another, is it a help or a hurt? I think this is a help. We do not want to be the team that's paying Elijah Mitchell $3.5 million right now with the current set of running backs that we already have, what we've seen out of Isaac Guerrero, what we may get to see again out of Jordan Mason. Don't forget about Israel Abanikanda, who I'm really hoping is going to flourish this next upcoming season. At the very least, is a great practice squad option. The 49ers also brought back Patrick Taylor Jr., so there's a move for you. You know what? Oh, man. I didn't throw anything in there for tight end number 2. I'm just going to have to go off the cuff on that one. I think I've got some stuff there that I'll have to pull up. But all of that being said, Elijah Mitchell, help or hurt? I think this is a good situation for the 49ers. Oh, this was great from How About Those Chiefs. I love this. I knew Elijah Mitchell had an injury history, but wasn't prepared for this. Very high risk, 90.9% chance of injury in 2025. That's amazing. Amazing, and that sounds really horrible for Elijah Mitchell, of course, so I feel so bad for and his injuries. But anyway, let's continue to move on. I'm going to pull up some of my stuff on the tight end move that I accidentally hopped off there. And we are going to move on, though, because there's still, unfortunately, many other moves we have to talk about. Charvarius Ward, Charvarius Ward signs with the Colts on a 3-year deal. That's what it's looking like. Worth up to $60 million. Sources tell the insiders he gets $35 million guaranteed, including a $20 million signing bonus. So Charvarius Ward, congratulations. Of course, we knew all along this is where this one was going. We've known all along, ever since he said from the top that this is the way that it was basically said this is the way that it's going to go. And you know what? I've seen a lot of people out there being super, super awesome to Mooney about, family situation, just wishing the best for his family, hoping that this works out for him. And how do you not cheer for Charvarius Ward and his family whenever they're not playing your team, of course? Like, obviously want the absolute best for Mooney. Okay, moving on. Hufanga, also gone. Nobody's surprised by that, of course, as well. That was a move that, I live in the Denver area. My brother-in-law is a diehard Broncos fan. So, of course, lots of conversation going on about, Hufanga going to the Broncos. By the way, while I mentioned that, I'm going to get back to Hufanga. Also, DJ Jones signed with the Broncos today, as well as one other individual I'm sure we'll talk about in a second as well. But DJ Jones was a guy that I was kind of hoping that the 49ers might be able to make a move for. Not going to happen. Probably for the best considering the defensive line talent in the draft this season. But the Broncos signed DJ Jones, defensive lineman. Then they also signed Hufanga, which I think what I was telling my brother-in-law is like, basically, here's the deal. He misses tackles a lot. He's a downhill player, and he takes risks as a downhill player, and sometimes that bites you in the butt. But he's also a tone setter. He's a culture guy. He's really great for the locker room. So there's huge advantages for bringing Hufanga in. And the deal with the 49ers is, financially speaking, sitting on two very talented young safeties. They're not going to go and make a move for Hufanga while they have two young safeties sitting there, and the team needs to get younger. That's the bottom line. That's the direction that the team needs to be going. So, John Lynch said it himself. So that unfortunately meant that he had to go. Of course, another big move. This one just happened. You might have missed this one. Kyle Juszczyk officially gone as well. Another bummer. It's hard to not, it's hard to not be kind of down today about all of these moves that are happening. And I kind of forgot the whole premise of the video was to talk about help versus hurt. So I'm going to go backwards real quick and just do help hurt on Charvarius Ward. I think this one hurts the 49ers. Financially speaking, we could not have kept up with that money that Mooney was asking for, unfortunately, anyways. But I think this was just the way that it was. So I'm going to call that one a wash when it's all said and done. We wouldn't have wanted Charvarius Ward to come back considering the trauma and all of that kind of stuff. So I guess in that sense, it's all kind of flat. Hufanga gone. Again, a player we could not afford to pay in this situation. So I'm going to say that one is a help, not a hurt. And then Juszczyk, because of the move for the tight end, which we'll talk about in a second here, I think this one's a help as well. Juszczyk was obviously already asked to take a pay cut in the past. I'm assuming he was offered, there were some reports out there that he was offered another opportunity to sign with the 49ers under a team-friendly deal, let's call it. And I'm guessing at this point he said no, and he's been cut, which is only sad in the sense of the history, that the number of players that just departed today, which just feels like, like we ran into a brick wall. It's crazy to think about how many players left today. How many players are gone today from that core, from the core? Like, it just feels like a completely different team. We've still got a lot of great players. We'll get to some of that later in the video too. But wow, that one crazy. Okay, so overall, age-wise, contract-wise, I'm going to say helps more than it hurts. That's my take. Let me know in the comments if you feel differently. That's fine. The 49ers made a move today for Luke Farrell from Jacksonville Jaguars, which Ian Rappaport called a big addition. 49ers with a big addition. Luke Farrell has agreed to terms with the 49ers on a 3-year contract worth $20.25 million with $11 million guaranteed. Interesting, a completely interesting thing to me. The interesting kind of move being this guy's not a pass-catching tight end. That's not his strong suit. This guy is a great pass blocker. That's good. So you'll take the benefit that he has there. And I had some really interesting stuff pulled up here. John Chapman saying, my favorite thing about him is that he hasn't missed a game in 3 years. That's incredible, of course. Akash saying, number 2 graded pass blocking tight end in 2024 with 49 pass blocking reps last season for the Jaguars per PFF. So you'll take that for what it is. Maybe a little bit pricey for a tight end 2, but the 49ers have wanted and needed a tight end 2 for far too long. They have needed a guy, and yes, I would have preferred a pass-catching tight end. I would have dreamed that the 49ers would make a move for a pass-catching tight end. I'm a little blown away that the 49ers have yet to make a move for another pass-catching tight end, but clearly they know what they want to do. And if I'm honest, like the best thing for Brock Purdy is a strong run game. That's the reality. Like the best thing for Brock Purdy is a strong run game. If you don't have a strong run game, it puts all the pressure on the quarterback. And we saw toward the end of the season that Brock Purdy can make some big mistakes. I don't think that's going to be the norm for him, but he can make some big mistakes. Having a strong run game is definitely a huge aid. Let's move on from Luke, though, onto the one that hurt the most for me, Dre Greenlaw. And it didn't hurt because I don't like Hufanga and I do like Dre or something like that. It hurt for me because I really believe the 49ers could afford this guy. I don't know what it came down to, but I'll tell you this. The Broncos expecting to sign the 49ers standout linebacker Dre Greenlaw, giving him a 3-year deal worth $35 million. So 49ers in there. Projections from PFF. I've told you this like a million times by now, I'm sure, if you watch all my videos. Projections from PFF were a 1-year, $6 million contract. Then it was like a $7.5 million contract. 1 year. Basically suggesting that there were no teams out there that are going to go for a guy who came off an Achilles injury, came out for 35 snaps, and then went back injured for the rest of the season. No team's going to do a contract of more than a year for a guy like that, surely. Well, the Denver Broncos, who re-signed DJ Jones today, who brought in Talanoa Hufanga, are now bringing in Dre Greenlaw. And they're willing to pony up the 3 years, $35 million for Dre. That is insane movements for the Denver Broncos. That defense was already, I believe, a top 5 defensive line for the majority of the season. And that defense just got better. They just added 2 All-Pros to the team. So, yes, Hufanga, aging, I get it. Dre Greenlaw, injury question marks, I get it. But it is hard to watch other teams today making so many huge moves, and this weekend, so many huge moves, and sit there and ask yourself, what are the 49ers doing right now? What exactly is their strategy? They wanted to get younger, I get it. But what's the strategy? And is this all of this because Jed York is fed up? Is this because Jed York is sick and tired of how things have been going? That we had a 6-11 team that he pumped money into and he's ready for something different? I don't know. I think it's interesting. This from David Lombardi. So both Dre Greenlaw and Talanoa Hufanga go to the Broncos. DJ Jones is there too, giving that Denver defense a 2021 49ers flavor. It's a good defense. At $11.6 million APY, Greenlaw is around NFL's 10th highest paid linebacker. Phenomenal for him coming off of a 35-snap season. And that's the bottom line. I love Dre Greenlaw. This one genuinely was the saddest for me. Isn't that weird? Like, it shouldn't be weird. I mean, I love Dre. But I'm like, I've always been like an offense guy. Like, I love offense. That's the thing I get excited about. But Dre Greenlaw, that one is hard to let go of. So what are the 49ers doing? Lots of great stuff out there. I'm definitely not going to get to it all, but I'll just give you a couple pointers that I heard around here. Niners free agent signings will be in the second and third waves. Brian Peacock, 100%. 49ers will likely collect comp picks today. Look for value free agency later. Okay? Bargain hunting. Akash, expensive, top-heavy, aging roster and coming off a 6-11 season. Just think it's the 49ers resetting their cap and attempting to build through the draft and build a sustainable team. Last year was a start, and they'll need to hit on more picks this season, a la Rams 2023. Okay, fair point as well. So the 49ers have made moves, signing a running back, re-signing Patrick Taylor Jr. 49ers went out there and picked up a tight end too, and everybody else is departing from the 49ers. I don't even know what the numbers are, but it's got to be because you also had Aaron Banks, who's gone. I forgot to put him in here. So you got Aaron Banks. Again, help or hurt. Dre Greenlaw, I think it could help if the 49ers do something really right, but it could definitely hurt the 49ers to not make the investment in the linebacker core. We definitely saw last year we needed it. Maybe, though, with Robert Saleh, that's the only saving grace in all this, that Robert Saleh can bring that intensity, can put together a team, compose them, and put together a solid defensive front. Again, we know he can do it. He's done it at multiple teams. He can do it again. But that being said, Dre Greenlaw's a hard one for me. And then Aaron Banks. Aaron Banks went for a boatload of money. I can't remember the exact numbers on there. So Aaron Banks leaves, and that was expected as well, free agent as well. And with Aaron Banks gone, that number, the number, if you add all these guys up, is somewhere north of $200 million. Like the 49ers could not have figured out a way to keep all these guys around. There's no doubt about that. So overall, do you feel like these were good moves? Let me know in the comments what you think here. One other move I wanted to talk about, because we probably won't get time to talk about it later this week, was Josh Allen's move. Quarterback Josh Allen took less money on an annual basis so the front office can build around him, making it up to him. They gave him $250 million of his $330 contract guaranteed. Do you think this is an important precedent set by Josh Allen? Do you agree that this is a good direction for the NFL to move? And does this help Brock Purdy? I think it does. I told my wife the second I saw this, I think this is a good thing for Brock Purdy. You've got an NFL MVP, top of the line guy who is going out there and he's taking less AAV compared to other teams, but more guaranteed. And that could work out really well for the 49ers and Brock Purdy. David Lombardi had a similar idea. Josh Allen contract is good for everyone. Purdy, 49ers, those of us who love to follow NFL finances. It restores sanity to the dialogue. I felt like a broken record saying APY isn't the be-all, end-all. The MVP taking $55 million with record guarantees truly underscores that good stuff. Let me know in the comments what you think about that one. Overall, if I had to choose between the two options that I presented you with from the very, very beginning, I said the 49ers either just got a massive gift from the NFL because all these teams were willing to pay these players what we couldn't afford to pay them or what we shouldn't have afforded to pay them, or the alternative is the 49ers are setting themselves back several years by sitting out on great players. Let me know in the comments what you think about that. My gut is to lean toward the massive gift in the NFL. I believe that these teams paying these players, like Aaron Banks is like a great example of a guy who the 49ers pay him all that money. Every single 49ers fan is upset about that. Every single one of us. So I think for me, I'd say that's a good move. I think these overall point in the right direction for the 49ers. It just feels a little scary, if I'm honest, and a little bit nostalgic, a little sad. This is the end of an era. Thank you so much for watching to this point of the video. If you're still watching, comment below legendary status because you are a legend. Have a fantastic evening. Still here. The button didn't work. So